Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays a Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, going for palindromic win number 44. I gotta tell you, first off, it's early. Forgive my voice. Secondly, look at this seed. GDWN, good win, VQX3. Look, I don't possess the capabilities to make some kind of like fake acronym for that, or reverse acronym, I suppose. This is an unbelievably great start. Great stats. She had great stats! And your run was all the way up. So you ever see Heat? Starring Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore. Wait. Who is the Val Kilmer's love interest in Heat? Ashley Judd. You can't sneak that by me. It's Ashley Judd. Anyway. Hooah! That's more scent of a woman. Anyway, Al Pacino. How about that? It's a great start. You know, we got a good rate of fire here. Mostly has been aided and abetted by the addition of, hold on, did we, no, we don't have a Tinted Rock, but we do have a Secret Room. By the addition of Analog Stick. It must be, the only analog stick that's ever made my tears go up is, the Joy-Con because of the drift. Because of the Joy-Con drift, you know what I mean? Got him. Anyway, it's really good. I mean, we're incredibly stoked, obviously, to have, the Crystal Ball, which is just fantastic. Gonna use it on here. We're hoping maybe... You know, I'll use Algiz right away, because we want to... No, we should have used Joker. Because we're gonna... want to see the deal with the devil we won't otherwise have access to. It's kind of an awkward deal with the devil, though. I was hoping maybe we would get, you know, a Spirit Heart from Crystal Ball, which is the easiest payout from Crystal Ball for sure, but no such luck. We kind of hate all of the trinkets, but Wiggle Worm is at least a Tears upgrade. I think before we go to the next floor, let's very quickly peep the Secret Room. And maybe this will give us some intel on how to approach Joker. It absolutely did. And then that gives us the nail. This is actually a really tough decision, because Crystal Ball is amazing in its own right. So, no joke, I think we don't take the nail. And I'm not trying to just be, like, needlessly, like, oh, look at me, I'm doing weird stuff. I think Crystal Ball, in terms of its expected value, it normally pays out with Spirit Hearts. So we probably get, let's say we get 60, let's say 2/3. You know, 2/3 of the time we press the space bar, we're going to get Spirit Hearts. We're also going to get mapping every single time. And the times that we don't get Spirit Hearts, we may well get something that's useful over and above Spirit Hearts. So I think that the nail is probably a little bit more correlated with winning. It's a tricky sell here. The nail is a little bit more correlated with winning. However, I think that the extra additional HP we would have spent to get it might not have been the best idea. So it's a bit, I wouldn't say it's controversial, but it's a bit of an unusual play relative to what we're used to. I mean, 2 of Diamonds is really good. Arrow Walk is not, but 2 of Diamonds is like, it's genuinely very, very good. We just need to actually get some money in the first place. So this is the thing is, no matter what our spacebar item was going to be, we're spoiled for choice. Blood of the Martyr, also fantastic here. Damage stat is popping off in a huge way. Yeah, I mean, it's just a genuinely very, very good run. And we'll definitely use the 5 room as well. So this is looking like pretty set right now. We definitely will not take pills. Thank you, by the way, about a week ago, because that's where our backlog's at right now. People were like, NL, you can use Virgo to, you know, buffer your pill selection. You know, if you have Virgo, you're not going to have terrible pills in your rotation anymore. It's only going to be pills that are quote-unquote not bad. Not necessarily good, and we know that there is a marked difference, unfortunately. But at least not bad pills, you know? So we don't have Virgo, but it's like, you know, I finally understand the expression, you know, I forgot more things than you ever knew. I'm not saying I forgot more things than you as Chad ever knew, but, you know, a lot of, you know, Isaac knowledge has actually, is slipped through the memory banks. Of course you're just gonna give me pills here. And of course you're gonna make me look like a fool when I said that you get a spirit heart from Crystal Ball 66% of the time, repeating, of course. And all of a sudden, you know, in our relatively small sample size, admittedly, we've only gotten one spirit heart. We've gotten, like, 1,000 things we don't care about at all. Alright, so we don't need 2 of diamonds. We love the Hierophant. We'll hold it just temporarily. It's a bit of a, like, a slightly spicy play, I guess, but I definitely think Goathead is super worth it. If we're gonna get the heck out of town, we might as well do that. Hold 2 of diamonds, because at some point there's gonna be some extra merit here. The thing is, at the end of the day, and you know we're getting serious when I say it's at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, this is an easy win, relatively, regardless. Dude, man, I would just love a bomb or something. I'm gonna sack a Spirit Heart to come in here. Okay. Okay. I regret it. We were missing out on so many consumables because we don't have any consumables, but at the end of the day, this is a pretty easy run regardless. It doesn't really require, you know, otherworldly strength or anything like that. So whether we take the nail or the crystal ball, we're probably going to be fine. If for no other reason than variety's sake, I think it's good to take the crystal ball. Not to mention, hey, I mean, that's an extremely good item, by the way, but we got the Hierophant, which pays for 2 Spirit Hearts. Even though it didn't pay out with a Spirit Heart, it then gave us a double Spirit Heart. So I think, I don't know, maybe we're still on track. I don't know why I'm trying to defend my initial assessment. I'm sure you could just go into the code and figure it out for yourself. I'm sure it doesn't have a... You know, there's probably, like, X chance of just getting a Spirit Heart, and then there's, like, you know, Y chance of getting, you know, another element, and then that other element has an X chance to produce a Spirit Heart as a result. You get the idea. I don't know why I'm belaboring the point here. Anyway, today's Thursday. Doing a little pre-check the wire Isaac to get the old vocal cords warmed up. It's a weird time, like, in the city of Vancouver. So, again, not complaining, but it is quite smoky on occasion because of the wildfire smoke from, you know, down south. Again, if you haven't watched Trackmania, you might think I'm like Duncan, like, hey, what are you doing down there? Stop starting so many fires. I'm not at all. I'm like, I know how it goes. We get it ourselves all the time. I mean, come on, how are you supposed to resist having a gender reveal party in a national park in 105-degree Fahrenheit weather? It's one of our God-given rights as sovereign citizens. However, on top of that, we're having like a moth apocalypse. Kate's been pointing out like there's a lot of moths, and I was like, you know, I was like, she's right. There have been a lot of moths, but I didn't realize it was like a full-blown moth apocalypse until I was reading the Vancouver subreddit, and people were, we're not taking those, dude. It's not necessary. I think we want 2 of diamonds. Yeah, we don't really need the stars card for anything. So I think we'll just take 2 of diamonds and get the heck out of town. No bombs still, huh? There's like pictures of people that are like, what's going on with all the moths? And they've got like a tarp in front of their house and it's just like riddled with moths. Alright, I think 2 of diamonds, you served your purpose. We kept you as long as we could until a better item came along. Finally, some bombs. Oh my god. So yeah, I mean, it's not really, like, catastrophic, but there's just, like, there's a lot of moths, dude. I have no idea where they came from. I always, I think back, like, it's not as bad here as it was there, but in South Korea, when I lived there, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And if you have a, you know, a problem with bugs, if you're, like, you don't even like to hear about bugs, you should probably, like, skip ahead 5 minutes in the video. I'm not gonna deliberately try to gross you out. I'm just gonna tell the story as it happened. But in May, there was just kind of like I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if it was cicadas or beetles, or if cicadas are a kind of beetle. But you know, there was one day where things were normal, and then the next day you're like, there's kind of like a lot of big beetles flying around in the sky, and then the next day you were like borderline getting pelted in the face by flying beetles on the way home. And I had never seen anything before that was like that in my entire life, but people were like, oh yeah, it's normal, it happens now and then. I guess, you know, maybe because cicadas have like a, what is like a 7-year not gestation period, but like generational cycles. So they like, you know, arise and mate and then die, and then the next ones come out 7 years later or something like that. Again, I'm clearly no expert. And oh, biology major. Oh, I guess you're supposed to know the gestational periods and generational gaps for every single species on Earth, even though there's you know, like 17 million or something like that. Anyway, the point is, the only way I can really like get the point across is I remember we went out to a Korean barbecue restaurant, and when we went in, there was like a staff member on the steps using a broom to sweep beetle carcasses off of the steps so customers could actually make it into the restaurant without stepping on dead bugs. Like, it was... don't get me wrong, by the way, you know, Vancouver is not very bug rich, but I've lived in places where, like, you know, in the summertime, you got clouds of mosquitoes and, you know, horse flies and yada yada yada. But this was like biblical. And it must have been cicadas, because, you know, for the next, like, 2 months, anytime you were walking around, all you hear is meow, 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 meow. It's kind of nice, though. I know a lot of people find it annoying. Like, you know, I find it kind of relaxing. I'm not saying, you know, if you gave me the choice to have them be loud or be quiet, I would choose quiet for the good of, you know, the rest. I probably should have pageant boyed this, but for the rest of everybody else's sleep and mental health. But for me personally, I didn't mind it. We will take. I really should have used Black Rune, though. We're not really getting much value out of it right now. We're not getting that much value out of the money either. Although I guess we did spend some on that floor, so that's not so bad. I'm the kind of guy. Look. I go through different phases of, like, you know, sleep preference in my life, but I do like a little noise when I sleep. Not like, you know, cars honking and stuff like that, but I find it comforting when there's, like, I can hear the sounds of life going on. You know, the occasional car going by, or, you know, like the street sweepers or something like that. Interesting. I think it goes back, like, when I was a teenager, I used to live at a place that was, like, I don't know, maybe, like, 2 or 3 kilometers away from the train tracks. So, like, at night, every now and then you would hear, like, a lilt. Like a locomotive lilt coming out that goes... And it was always, like, I don't know, kind of comforting that, you know, while you're asleep, the world doesn't stop. There's still stuff going on out there that, you know, is keeping the wheels of industry turning. Alright, so you are a jerk. I gave you a lot of spirit hearts, and oh, we did gulp our trinket, though. The response that you gave me was 4 pills. 4 pills! Do you know the physical toll that 4 pills has on a man? Gulp, gulp, Jan. Gulp, gulp. Alright, but I mean, there's a reason I felt comfortable sacrificing those spirit hearts, dude. It's like the run is... extremely good. Lump of coal's helping out a lot. We will take, but we won't take yet. Sack altar, I think, is, like, genuinely bad here. But I think that we definitely like pentagram enough. And we like magic mush after pentagram because it's a multiplier, right? Seems sensible to me. And, I mean, the run's not getting any worse, let's put it that way. I'm not giving you anything else, dude. Oh, you. We got 2 jokers now. I see how it is. We don't. The thing with Sack Altar is like it's a really good item if you got a lot of trash familiars. We don't have trash familiars. We have one familiar we don't really care for, and then one familiar that's like maybe the 3rd best familiar in the game. I very much enjoy having Rotten Baby, especially with high damage. We'll take this, not use Black Rune. We still haven't been to our item room on this floor either, but... Come on, man. Come on, man. This is getting a little ridiculous. It's so ridiculous you almost made me say redonkulous. And I don't like to do that. So, you know, you're really pushing me to the limit here. I suppose we might as well take umbilical cord. It's also pretty good. I mean, at this point now, we have some familiars that are a little spottier. Not necessarily bad, just a little spottier. So we might consider taking Sack Altar. But again, it's like, I'm not really going to pay for the privilege. So straight up, I'm going to do some more rooms. I don't want to go to the Curse Room and spend a Spirit Heart, when instead I could spend a Spirit Heart on Demon Judgment. And, I mean, I know this is like Gambler's Fallacy, but we gotta be close to a payout. The thing is, Gambler's Fallacy is only a fallacy with our understanding of casino games. I know that sounds stupid, but like, you're not any more likely to win in game 10 of Blackjack than you are in, you know, game 1. However, I do think that there might be mathematical modeling for the Demon Judgments that the longer you play them, the more likely you are to get a payout. I don't have the data to back that up. I'm just saying, you know, it's reasonable to assume that that might have been coded into the game. I think. So I don't think we're gonna go to the dice room either. I know it's gonna ruffle some feathers, but come on, man. We gulped our umbilical cord, which is fine. I don't think we want to use our last 2 keys there to go to that room just in case. Dude, this is insane. Oh, I mean, it's a great opportunity for Black Rune, don't get me wrong. So we did get damage and luck. I mean, dude, that was... How many pills? I would say that's a new WR, a new world record. For most amount of pills gotten from one Demon Judgment. It's not the kind of medal that you get super excited about. Like, it's not as glamorous, for example, as, like, the fastest time in world history to sharpen an entire box of pencils down to their nub. But... it's pretty prodigious. I mean, prestigious. It's not prodigious. I'm the only person that has ever tracked this medal. Alright, it's good. It's good money. Keep it moving here. So yeah, we got a Mothpocalypse. I'm not a big fan of moths. They don't... I have a recurring theme. It is very simple. I have a recurring theme of animals that weird me out. And there's like a lot of them. I'm not anti-animal by any stretch of the imagination, but there's like one unique kind of like cosmic horror. And that, for me, is an animal that, I don't know, like, look, it's tough to quantify, it's tough to explain, I haven't really thought about it. I guess we probably should have taken, well, we can take more pills now, is what I mean to say. Like, so here's the thing. I think what creeps me out is, when an animal is not sentient, you know? When an animal is, like, kind of not aware of its own existence. We're happy to have this, but we are gonna trade back. That's what gets me, right? Now, I will say, I can't back that up. Like, I have no idea at what point an animal gains sentience, you know? Like, how far up the order do you have to get? I guess the kingdom. Do you have to get for, excuse me. Oh, I thought it was just a fly. How far up the kingdom do you have to get for sentience to exist? I don't know. But I'll tell you, jellyfish freak me out, dude. And the reason they freak me out is because they are basically just like an organic plastic bag. And it, like, is weird. It does things. And it does things to improve its own survival. But it doesn't know that it's doing them. Don't you find that weird? Like, for me, it's less of like, oh, what a weird creature. And it's more like, what are the philosophical implications of what does this mean about what life is? You know, we think of ourselves as, like, maybe beings with free will or whatever. The jellyfish is, you know, it's an individual. I think we're actually happier with chaos, believe it or not. I'm just gonna nuke you down, and then we'll take Yarrow with us. We're not gonna save it for, like, you know, Blue Baby. I think we do not want it. Like, I'm getting a little bit over the station of what a YouTuber can really talk about and feel confident with what they're saying. But I'm like, I think it's the jellyfish makes me think too uncomfortably about life itself. It's like, I consider myself a being with free will. The jellyfish does not consider itself a being at all. But what separates us from the jellyfish, you know? We're built from some of the same basic building blocks. Maybe... though the jellyfish, you know, it acts in a way unconsciously to preserve its own survival. Maybe the jellyfish is, you know, on some level, it also feels like it's, you know, got some independence and autonomy. And you can see the allegory for how mankind might feel that way, right? Moths are kind of like the same way for me, you know? They have like a little brain the size of like the head of a pin. And they mostly just like fly into light bulbs. I don't know. It's the dumber an animal is, not to be rude, but the dumber an animal is, the more I'm like, I hate seeing them. It's true. I don't know. I think it's taken me like a while to come to the conclusion. Well, we're not going to teleport out of our boss rush, so we might as well just come down here. For why I hate jellyfish, like, I don't find jellyfish weird. Alright, let me rephrase. It's not the creature itself. I'm not, like, you know, scared of it like the same way you would be scared if you saw, like, a grizzly bear or something like that. It's more just, like, its existence is an affront to my personal, like, core tenets about, you know, what it means to be a living creature on planet Earth. It's like you're kind of, like, they're organic drones, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, they got a little... organic raspberry pie in them, and they just sort of like, you know, you wind them up and let them go. I don't like it. But I do like an Emperor card, but I think we're probably going to stick with Yera. I don't know. I feel like probably 97.2% of people watching this video are going to be like, you've lost your mind. And the other 2.8% are going to be like, finally, someone has put into words what bothers me about him, too. It's something like, you know... It's like if I got eaten by, like, a crocodile or something. I know it's, like, functionally the same thing, right? If I got eaten by a crocodile, I think I would find it easier to live with. I mean, I guess pun intended. But... you know, I would not be happy. I would be like, oh, crap, I got eaten by a crocodile. But in my head, I would be like, ah, it's okay, he's hungry, you know? I could eventually come to terms with it. But if I got killed in, like, a jellyfish swarm or something like that, I would be like, it's just so alien. It's like, oh, they're not even killing me because they're hungry. They just want my elements, you know? I don't know, man. It's weird. Luckily, I don't encounter jellyfish too much. Don't have to worry about it on the regular. And people, like, you know, they'll tweet me, like, a photo of jellyfish or something to try to freak me out. First off, that's pretty fricked up, you know? I tell people, you know, I got a fear of jellyfish. Then they tweet me a photo. Then I look at their profile, and, like, the #1 thing in their profile is, like, mental health advocate. I'm like, I don't know about that one. We will definitely take this. You know what? I think we want the space for the spirit hearts. Give me that, too. Maybe mental health assassin. But regardless, it doesn't bother me. You know, like, I've gone to the aquarium. I see the jellyfish. I'll put my face up against the glass and be like, whoa, God really screwed that one up. But I don't know. So that's, you know, I'm not, like, anti-mod. I'll get over it. I mean, I gotta, you know, bugs, they don't really bother me. It's not my, you know, it's not like I would adopt, like, a moth as a pet. But in university, we did, like, you know, these labs. It's kind of a cruel lab. I'm not going to deny it, but I don't think it's going to bother too many people. So basically, we did this experiment. This was sanctioned, you know, it wasn't like we made it up. Where you had like 4 or 5 locusts. And they were like a little sleepy, right? Because I don't know where they store them in the lab, like in a freezer or something. Then when you unfreeze them, they kind of come back to life. So they gave us like, you know, 5 locusts, and then the purpose of the study, we do not want, was to determine like how metabolites, like hormones and stuff like that in the blood changed based on whether they were at rest or under stress, you know? So there would be like, you know, you'd pull apart basically a locust and then, you know, blitz up its thorax and then, you know, put it in a centrifuge and then, you know, look at like the results from the spectrometer or whatever. Look, it's been a long time. I have not really used my degree, but work with me on this one. So you would take like your first locust and you would like, you know, kind of kill it and pull it apart and then, you know, get it set up. And then you took like another locust and you just, I swear to God this is true. You would take the locust, put it on the ground, very quickly put a garbage can on top of it, and then just beat the crap out of the garbage can with a yardstick, like a meter stick. And the idea is, I guess locusts are very sensitive to, like, vibrations and sound. So you're basically just, like, torturing this poor thing. And then, when its torture finally ends after, like, I don't know, 30 seconds... We'll just take this for now. We could use the other one, but we don't need to use the other one. Then you're like, okay, don't worry, little buddy, it's all good. And then you rip it in half and put its thorax in the... You blitz up its thorax and get to work, you know? Hey, come on, do it, it's trivia night tonight. I don't like to... I mean, I heard Justin talk about this on his stream. I very much agree with him. I do eat meat. If we went back to a world where you had to kill your own game, I would not eat meat. For sure. And this is not even that hypocritical, because, you know, I have gone meatless at various points in my life, and honestly, again, I always say this, it's not to put it on Kate, but Kate's like, I don't really want to go vegetarian. If that weren't the case, I would probably already be vegetarian. But the thing is, I also make my choice. Like, I could still do it, but I'm like, it's too inconvenient. So I'm at, like, stage 2 of having principles. Stage 1 is like, you know, the existence of vegetarians offends me. Stage 2 is like, you know, I would like to, but it would require some changes in my life that I'm unwilling to do right now, because I got other stuff on the go. Which I think is, you know, fair and unfair in kind of equal measure, but... yeah, we want to keep Yara. I am at the level of, like, if I had to hunt my own game, I would rather just be vegetarian for certain. I like meat, you know, and previously, especially as a teenager, I thought I was one of those meaty guys, you know? But I'm not really a meaty guy. I'm much more of like a... I mean, the first time I went vegetarian, I was introduced to a lot of foods that I had never consumed before in my life, and I was like, hey, these are pretty good. What a weird setup here. So I'll tell you, I think we're just gonna fight Mega Satan, so we should take all the passives, and we should also take, like, a good active, I guess. Or at least an active that does anything. Like, I find it easy to eat meat right now, as long as I am buying, like, abstract cuts of food from the grocery store. If I had to go to the butcher and be like, that cow, I couldn't do it. I don't think. And you know what? I resist the idea. Like, here's the thing. We got a little time on this fight. We don't have a lot. I resist the idea that that's weakness, you know? I think you as human beings, you know, our strength is not that we... I mean, not even just as human beings, but as, like, you know, creatures subject to the whims of evolution. You know, we don't need to be well-suited to the environment that got us to this point in order to be well-suited to the environment we currently live in. You know what I mean? People will, you know, they'll actually be like, oh, if you couldn't hunt your own food, how would you survive, you know, on the Great Rift Valley 100,000 years ago? Yeah, okay, well, if people from the Great Rift Valley 100,000 years ago came to the modern world, they wouldn't do so hot either. They'd be like, what the heck? You're speaking? What's that, a computer? I mean, they wouldn't even know what to do, right? So, you know, it makes more sense to be well adapted to the world that we presently live in. And in the world that we presently live in, I'm not going to say that meat consumption is necessarily a personal negative, but, you know, it'd be not consuming meat or not having that killer instinct that allows you to, you know, hunt and not feel weird about it, I think is not necessarily a negative at all. I don't think it's necessarily a positive. Like, I don't think it gives you any benefits necessarily, except maybe environmentally and health speaking in some situations, but not all situations. But I certainly don't think of it as a personality, you know, defect. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. That was a good and fast run. 44 wins in the books. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!